Hello and welcome to the third episode of WTFFF. We've got Willow here today. I know she's in the logo, so I had to get her in for a video. Alright, you go do puppy things. Alrighty, as I said, welcome to the third episode of WTFFF. Co-host Moose is holidaying away, so wish him a great relaxing time. It's a well-earned break for him. He's been working really hard. With weekends, like comps on weekends and all that other stuff. So, well earned. We won't give him too much of a hard time about that for resting. So, what we're going to talk about today, guys, is mental health. Oh, a bit puffed from picking Willow up, dear me. So, mental health, this is something that's a buzzword right now, I feel, in the world. Like, it's obviously been a big topic the last few years with the pandemic and lots of other things like that. But I'm noticing even more of a trend right now of a lot of burnout and a lot of people struggling with their mental health. I don't know if it's a universe thing where there's something happening. Someone said to me, it's like, oh, there's a solar flare or it's a full moon. I don't really know about that stuff, but I'm feeling the pinch myself. So I thought I'd get on, I'd have a chat about the things that I've been implementing myself to try and stay on top of it and keep myself healthy. And I hope that you can take a few things away from this yourself. So to get into it, I've got 7 main tips to run you through today. So the first one, it'll be funny enough, not on a gym health and fitness based podcast, for it not to be exercise. So exercise is going to be incredible for your mental health. Like from the scientific side of things, it's going to be that endorphin flow that you're going to be getting. It's going to be that helpful sort of balance of cortisol. Like, yes, training does release a little bit of cortisol, which is a stress hormone, which is actually the body needing to have an adaptation and a result or a progression for the training. So there is that, but anyone that does it regularly know that it makes you feel better. It clears your head. It can be an outlet to put your stress into so that you're better clarity through the day. A point that I want to make though as well is that it doesn't need to be smashing yourself, especially when it comes in the line of doing it for your mental health. You need to do what your body feels like. So, if it's a day where your mental health just needs a walk, well, maybe that's it. Maybe it's a run. Maybe it's put some music in the ears and you're just gonna, really just gonna belt yourself in the gym and really work hard that day. Maybe it's just, all right, today I'm just gonna go through, do some light weights, gonna do some mobility. It comes down to listening to your body when it's in the realm of mental health. But sometimes, even in the way of mental health, you still need to push yourself, I find. You need to find those days where you need to push a little bit harder, dig a little bit deeper to see how your body responds, I guess you could say, and see how you grow as a character, I think is really important. So exercise, number 1. Very important and can be done anywhere. It doesn't need to be in a gym. You don't need an expensive gym membership or any of that. You can do it anywhere. Do body weight exercises. There's stuff on YouTube for free, like this is where this content will be, or guided sort of workouts, guided meditations, squirting different things. So that's number 1. Number 2 is mindfulness. Mindfulness is another little bit of a buzzword at the moment, and for good reason. It is so great for your mental health. Now, there's a lot of voodoo, there's a lot of stigma around mindfulness and what it may be, what it looks like. Some people think it's meditation, your arms crossed and you're humming and you got your fingers in the perfect peace sign or whatever it is. And it's not that, and it's going to be different for everybody. I have a bit of a busy mind. My meditation is to sit in stillness and breathe. And I've worked to that. I've progressively gotten better and improved that compared to when I started. I used to focus on a sound, like a beta wave. That's another one. Alpha waves, beta waves, brown noise, all these different things. They're all on Spotify. They're free. There's also YouTube as well. So there's a lot of things in that area in the way of meditation, but the biggest thing to take away is that there's no wrongs and rights. I've been working with someone very closely, which I hope I'll be able to get on the podcast in the next month or so. Been teaching me to notice the rise and fall of your thoughts. I'll get him to go into that in a lot more depth, but it's not noticing there's no wrongs, there's no rights. It's going, okay, what's happening, noticing it, acknowledging it, letting it pass. And I guess the goal is also to learn to not to attach to those and have an emotional response to those thoughts, which can be stress, anxiety, lots of other things that come from that. Other parts of mindfulness is just being present. It's putting the phone down. It's noticing things around you, and that leads me into gratitude. grateful for the beautiful weather that we're having, the beautiful people around me. Like mindfulness on a walk outside with Willow is one of my personal favorites for mental health. I find it gives me good buzz, refresh of energy, especially on a nice sunny day. The only other part to mindfulness that I'd like to add is that there is journaling. Get those thoughts out onto paper. And now this isn't like a 14-year-old girl in a high school diary, and you've got to keep it like a vault. There's no rules. Like it's if you want to go before bed and you're just going to pop some things down the journal, get them out of your head, put them onto paper. If it's 2 lines, great. If it's an essay, 3 pages long with details and paragraphs, cool, whatever. Depends on what you need at that point in time. And it can really get those thoughts out of your head. You can help you process them a little bit better. And then you don't have to be like, especially if it's things if you're a doer, it's caught in the do, then you have to get those thoughts out, process them, and also make sure that you're not going to forget them, because that's a stress response that you're going to have to that as well. Cool. Number 2. Alrighty. So mindfulness. Number 3 is sleep. So Will from Primabolics, we've got some of his products up there. I don't know if they're in frame or not, but he has some incredible products. And he taught me, and I really like this, so I'm going to share it with you guys, is that when it comes to sleep, we have a cycle of melatonin, which is released at night, and we have cortisol, which is a stress hormone, which is released in the morning. And sleep sort of helps to regulate that system. And I'm giving this quite simple. He's got a podcast that I could link to get a bit more depth around this. But in the morning, we have this natural wave up of cortisol. We wake up, we ideally see the sun, we have a raise of cortisol, and that goes in a circular motion, rises, about midday, and then it should start to fall away by dinner time, and it's starting, your cortisol meant to be quite low. And then your body will start to naturally release melatonin, and you go to sleep. And then you go through that wave consistently. So sleep is acting to regulate that circadian rhythm. It is regulating all your endorphins, your dopamine, your serotonin levels, regulates your cortisol levels. So if you're feeling really stressed, which is contributing to your mental health, then you need to look at your sleep to see okay, is your body actually getting enough rest to be able to regulate those things and bring you back? Because if you waking up in the morning stressed, then ideally you're not really going to have much lack of feeling heaps better through the day. You want to wake up feeling refreshed, you've got a bit of clarity, all that sort of stuff. So that's where, tracking your sleep, making sure you're getting adequate REM, deep sleep, light sleep, you've got a good routine around your sleep. So if you need to go to bed at 9:30 every night, get up at 6 a.m, you need to kind of stick to that routine every day. And in the perfect world, even on a Saturday, Sunday, you stick to the exact same routine as well, because that's going to then knock you out coming into Monday if you're always sleeping in on a Sunday or something like that. I don't know who I saw it from, but there was someone saying that it's literally your routine is more important than an extra hour or 2 sleep, and will benefit you. So that's something to consider, that maybe you don't actually need that sleep in on a Sunday. Sometimes I feel I do, it's one of those things. It's also that my sleep, I'm up 4:30 in the morning through the week, and I don't want to be up 4:30 on a Sunday. So not practicing what I preach there, but you can't win them all, can you? And number 4, guys, is ice bath, cold showers. Now this, I'm sure you've seen a little bit on social media. It's like a trending topic. People wear it like a badge of honor to be good at doing their ice baths, doing their cold showers. But this is something that I've been doing for a really long time, and I'm all for it because it is something that is challenging. It's something that is challenging that you can add to your day that isn't really straining you, it's actually benefiting you, is really good. Like to get up in the morning on a cold morning and to do a cold shower to get the benefit of a release of dopamine, reducing inflammation in your body, and then to do a hard thing that you don't want to do, it can then set you up for success through the day to do all these things that you may not have wanted to do before, but they look easy because you've already done a cold shower and you've done something that you really didn't want to do that day. And that is probably my biggest benefit to why I find those ice bath cold showers a really good thing. Now, if we get into the actual benefit, it does put your body into a bit more of a parasympathetic system, more of that rest and digest versus that fight or flight system that we end up in day to day with all the stresses of life. So it can sort of maybe reset that system. Dopamine levels post ice bath or cold immersion. This is probably not quite as high in a cold shower, but definitely will have some benefit. I think there's somewhere between like 200 to 400% increases in natural levels of dopamine on a long extended line, graph, I guess you'd say, after an ice bath. And if you were to look at the levels that you get from scrolling Instagram or getting a like on Instagram or all those things that have dopamine responses that we get very addicted to quite easily, and that's the point coming up next, is it is significantly like slower release dopamine, and it's from something again that it's healthy. It's reducing your inflammation, helping your training recovery, and making hard things seem a little bit easier. So ice baths, cold showers, it's best to start cold showers first, build a bit of a tolerance. Like if you've never had a cold shower and you don't go for a swim in winter, then you're not going to be used to the cold. So build yourself into it. Unless you're as part of a breathwork seminar, I don't recommend starting with ice baths. There are some great seminars or workshops that people do to actually prep your breathing, prep your body ready to do an ice bath. But just going in, no experience in any sort of cold exposure, may be very, very challenging. If you like a challenge, great, go for it. But don't expect that you're going to be sitting in there zen peaceful for 5 minutes. Okay, number 5. Now this is something that you can control yourself, and it is a really, really good one because you can control your consumption, but you can't control what you're getting given. Okay, so limit social media and news consumption. Now I think this is so brilliant. I think this is really, really good. I've done a really good job myself for the last few years of like limiting my news exposure. I think I've had a little bit too much financial news creep in with interest rates rising myself, so I've got to scale back away. I don't have control of the RBA of what they're going to do with interest rates, so unfortunately I'm going to be just keeping my mindset away from that. I've got to remove myself from that. I'm doing my best to limit my social media consumption. A little bit hard being a small business. I do need to have a good social media, hence me doing a podcast. But it's going to be so good for keeping yourself mindful, keeping yourself present. You're not going to be getting pushed into this stress response from seeing something that's external and outside of your control. You're going to be keeping in with what's happening in your life and the things that you can control, the things with your exercise, your nutrition, your work, your relationships, all those things immediate to you, keeping them really good. It's going to obviously move you towards better mental health. The only thing I'd add there, guys, would be setting limits on your phone. So I have a limit set up for how much social media I can do each day. Otherwise my phone will just pretty much start to be like, nope, that's enough for today. I don't remember how much it is. I think it's a fair bit. I'm trying to work it down. Maybe it's like 90 minutes or something like that. Either way, it's a great thing to do to keep yourself accountable and to sort of, instead of going cold turkey, just chip it away. Start at 2 hours, go down to 90 minutes, hour 15, however you want to do it, and get it down to a level that's appropriate for you and your usages, and I guess with your goals with it, depending if you have any. So, 6, humans are pack animals, so we need connection. So don't lone wolf it. This is one that I do a little bit too much myself. I sort of will just do, and sort of just try and grind through it. End of the day, like, we are pack animals. We do need connection, and you're going to feel refreshed. You're going to have so much support to your mental health for connecting with your close close family, close friends, going out for dinner, like connecting over a meal, whatever it may be. But it's just knowing that you're not alone with it. And if you are really struggling with mental health, like, most people are only a message away, and the true friends and family, like, will only be a message away, and they will be there right to support you in whatever way you need. And make sure you communicate what way you need, because it can be hard to communicate when it comes to mental health. But I will tell you from my personal experience, it is well worth it, because the people around you will support you, and it can be a very hard thing to get out of by yourself. That's number 6. Number 7. I really love this analogy. I have to thank Declan Edwards for BU Happiness College for this one. This is a fill your cup. So we have a cup of energy that you have. And now I'm an introvert working an extroverted job, and I have to constantly pour my cup into others. I've got 8 sessions a day, I've got 8 clients I need to give my energy to, I need to give them my support, I need to give them my encouragement, and I'm constantly pouring my cup out, giving it to them. And if I don't fill my cup, eventually I don't have any more to pour out to the people, and it leads to me not being as focused, not having as much energy, and realistically not performing as well as I really want to as a coach. So I need to fill my cup up. What are the things that fill your cup up? Well, that comes down to self-care. Now, there's some of the things already I've mentioned today that are self-care methods: exercise, ice bath, mindfulness, good sleep. These are all things that are going to fill up your cup, but you've got to actually be doing them. Not everybody will make the time for it. They are that important, and it's going to be like, I don't have time. But then it's like, well, eventually you're going to get to the point where you're going to be either working long hours, not being productive, getting shit all done, and you're going to be just spinning your wheels in the same place, and you've just you're busy for the sake of being busy. I think the goal should be a little bit more how you can be productive if that's your, mentality around work, if you're saying you're busy. And there's a few other analogies within that cup, like if you're you got your mental health not focused at the time, like it could be a hole in the cup and you're constantly pouring out, like all these things around emotional baggage that could be considered holes in the cup that need to be addressed and worked on internally, in that self-development, which is stuff that I want to talk about more in future podcasts, but I'm just lightly breezing over right now. But that is pretty much it, guys. I'm not going to ramble for too much longer. That is my 7 tips to support your mental health. If you're personally struggling with mental health and you don't feel like there's anybody to support you, you can message me anytime. My Instagram is Brendan_Andrews. We've got Forever Forward Fitness. There's a whole team of people that can support you on there, and would always be happy to exchange a couple voice memos, send a couple messages, even jump on a call. Either way, it doesn't matter to me. I would really love to support anyone that needs it. Or, of course, there are professional resources like Beyond Blue, Lifeline, lots of things like that you can reach out to and get support. And, a great system in Australia that we are privileged to have, like go to your GP, get a mental health care plan and get subsidised psychology help and all of those great things. But guys, thank you so much for listening. I hope you took some value away from that. Please comment below or let us know if you've got any topics that you want to see, and if you have any feedback about how we're delivering the content, because we're only new to this and we are looking to improve. So thank you so much.